For many people that do not know, September is the month of decision for Satan, and by the December rolls around is the month of death. Many people must die. If you don't understand this, I highly suggest that you study the Marine Kingdom. Now, I've been studying the Marine Kingdom heavily over this past year alone, and exactly on September 1st, I had a dream concerning the Marine Kingdom. Now, I'm going to tell the dream and then I'll tell the interpretation of the dream and how the Father revealed it to me. So, in the dream, I was in my apartment and I was living my life in peace, harmony, everything opposite that I was doing before, also known as living in the ways of the world. Now, in my dream, a rapper came. They began to throw hundreds, money everywhere, but when I looked on the floor in my dream, it was $100 bills. And crowds began to appear to come after the rapper. But they came into my apartment. The rapper came into my apartment when he was throwing money and the crowds followed. Now in the dream, I'm upset because I was at home chilling. You know, when you live alone, you can do things, whatever you want. You want to walk around naked in each room, you can do that. So in my dream, you know, I don't really have any clothes on. I'm just enjoying my off day at home. And I see crowds of people coming and I began to cover myself with my hands. Now this reminds me in the garden when Eve and Adam began to cover themselves. And the more people that came, I complained. Now, so much complaining, it was one woman in particular in my dream. She had silver and red eyeshadow and she had thick lashes. And in my dream, she began to argue with me, and I told her, you know, I deleted my social media. This is why I don't have social media. You know, I was basically telling her I wanted no part of the world. I wanted everybody escorted, whatever, removed from my apartment. Now, as she argued back with me, she stood up and she lifted up one finger. She said, hold on. And as she stood up and lifted up her finger, she began to cough and cough. Now, if you want to learn more about deliverance, I recommend researching Derek Prince. I also read this wonderful book recently, Pigs in the Parlor. It's just a great book that teaches about deliverance ministry. So ultimately, when I talk about the revelation of this dream, I have been delivered. That's why I want to mention that. Now, as she began to cough and cough, a green snake, and this is why I have the snake here on the screen today, because this is exactly how the snake looked. The snake was so big that only the head of the snake was able to make it out of her mouth. And when I think about it, even make my stomach just quench. As soon as I saw the head of the snake get to her mouth, I mean, it looked like her face was about to tear. That's how big the snake was coming out of her mouth. And the snake didn't even emerge completely out of her mouth. Only the head had made it out. Instantly, I turned quickly. I saw large bodies of water, green, just like this picture. And it was little baby snakes all throughout the water. Now, in the far distance, I seen a building. I seen a gate. I seen a bright light. Okay. And I seen people outside that could not make it in. Some of them had also manifested into snakes. Others were just regular people, you know, clueless and helpless, like the Walking Dead. A lot of people are spiritually walking dead. And a sister of mine has said that to me and just registered so clearly and so plainly. But making long story short, we were in my apartment, but once she began to vomit up the snake, all of a sudden we were in the middle of the water. We weren't in the ocean, it was more like a lake, because I could see the other side of things alongside the water. But ultimately I wanted to get to this building. I wanted to get to this gate with the bright light. I knew it was a safe haven. And I knew I had to jump into the water, but I was looking to the most clear path. Now, as I dove into the water, a revelation came to my mind. Father gave me revelation. When it was time for his son to be crucified, his flesh was crucified, but his spirit was glorified. So although I had to jump into that water, I was given a revelation I was being glorified. And now this is when I seen the sun. The figure was so big, bigger than the sun, bigger than the moon, bigger than the sky, undescribably, not like, obese big, not like a triangle or not like a square. I mean, just like a big figure. And I seen a white robe at the bottom. All white robe. Never seen a face or anything. It was just a white robe at the bottom. And literally I seen hands pick me up from this water and save me. Now, just stick with me. But let me go ahead and give the revelation of the dream. So the apartment, because we must understand the Father speaks in parables, the apartment was the temple of my body. That is why the people were coming in. It was like my previous life when I would allow people into my life, fornication, allow people into my temple, things like that. So there's crowds of people that were coming, and I didn't want them there. And the rapper was throwing money. And in the dream, I felt like, I'm not an object, And ultimately, at the end of the day, I watched a sermon not too long ago called Sex Toy, and both men and women are sex toys. They think that they're, exchanging one thing or another, but they're really in a covenant with the devil. That's a different sermon. Just want to keep this on the dream. So the man was basically trying to buy me with money, but my spirit was no longer registering with it. And I wanted them out, and I wanted everything to do with them out. I wanted no piece of the world. And now, as remember, I said I was calling for security to remove them. The Father was a security. I was calling on the Father to remove them. I kept on complaining, remove them, remove them. Now, a lot of people can say that when they're in that lifestyle, that it's fun, it's lit, whatever they want to say, it's cool. Glitz and glam, whatever they want to say. But at the end of the day, it's really painful, whether if they want to admit it or not, whether what you see behind the scenes or not, it's really a painful life. Those people that look like they're having so much fun. So the Father knew how much pain I was in. And, even though I was having fun on the outside, I just remember really feeling lonely or suicidal or depressed on the inside, no matter what I was doing on the outside. So the security, I kept on calling for them to be removed because I would call out for help, but didn't really know how to change. And now, just to move on, as we get to the water, remember I said we transition from the apartment to the water. Now, as I have been specifically praying against the marine kingdom, as I had said, against the python spirit, as I mentioned, I'm praying against these things, always feeling exhausted, holding yourself back. It's a lot of ways that you can have signs of the python spirit, but like that's a different video, or you can even research it yourself. But I was realizing these signs, and then finally I had this dream. And then as I listened to a pastor, they also spoke about the python spirit without me even having to mention it. And then finally I began to research prayers and pray against the python spirit. And instantly I seen a deliverance from it. So as in the dream, when this woman vomited up the big snake, it was like I had been vomited. The python spirit had vomited me ultimately. And in the distance, remember I said in the distance, I seen this building, I seen this gate with this light. That was the kingdom of heaven. And so when there were people walking back and forth in front of the kingdom that could not get in, it's because, that we think of that Bible where as many are called, but few are chosen. So when I say it was like a congregation of people waiting outside to get in, but they were not getting in, that's exactly what I mean. Now, we always see the demonic. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of people, if you haven't recognized, a lot of people are just walking around with demons themselves. So I've been praying to see an angel. I've been praying to encounter the Holy Spirit, angelic beings. I want to see the righteous in my dream. I'm tired of seeing the devil. I'm tired of hearing from the devil. Tired. Um, so the fact that I was able to just see the robe come and save me and the voice, I just continued to call on his name and call on his name as I swam closer and closer to the kingdom. And I woke up and I wasn't afraid. I wasn't scared. I woke up and I prayed some more. Now this is part two. When I woke up and I continued to cast out the python, because when you have dreams, you don't go to sleep. Oh, I beat him. He picked me up. I'm going back to bed. You want to wake up and continue to pray. So I woke up and I continued to pray. I prayed about 2 hours, like 3 a.m. to like 5 a.m. or something. It was like 5:42. And I pray in different positions, try to walk around, whatever I gotta do to keep myself engaged. And I sat on the floor and I actually just laid down. And the Father told me not to lay down because I was gonna go to sleep. But me feeling accomplished, in my prayer, I just laid down and fell asleep in that position. Now, when I fell asleep, I actually astral projected out of my body, meaning I saw myself sleep on the floor. I had on a pink shirt with gray sweatpants. It was the same way I had went to sleep. So I see myself sleep on the floor. Now, it is a large demon. It's a woman. And she's speaking through my mouth and she's saying how she's not going to go. And I can hear the Father, I can hear the Holy Spirit saying, yes, you are going to go. Yes, you are going to go. And you can just hear this demonic screeching saying, I'm not going to go. And I can see my body, I have a patio. I can see my body being dragged towards the patio. And the demon, the woman is saying, she's going to go with me. This is all, I see this all happening. Feel like I'm in another dream again, but I know that I'm not. And the Father saying, no, she's not going to go with you. He's warring on my behalf because we do not save ourselves. It's only the faith and the blood that saves us. And so literally I see this demonic woman had my patio door cracked before I went to sleep. It's still cracked in the astral projection. And I see this large demonic woman, figure go out my patio and disappear into the abyss. Hideous voice, hideous face, hideous attitude, have the nerve to argue with the Most High and say that she's not going to let me go and what she's not going to do. And after it was all said and done, after she disappeared, I had woken up, but I knew what happened. I saw the Holy Spirit save me. I saw the Holy Spirit deliver me. And if that's something that you don't want to believe, maybe you need to pray and ask the Father to reveal himself in an undeniable way. But I've had many undeniable ways that the Father has revealed himself to me. And I'm just sharing it unto you that when you wake up from these types of things, you pray, and you must understand that it does not matter if you were in witchcraft and you haven't been delivered from witchcraft. You may still have a spirit of witchcraft residing in you. It's time to get delivered. Whether if you're delivering yourself at home, the first way through deliverance is the word. The Father's promises are in his word. For the Son said that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So you got to understand that just because you stop doing something doesn't mean that you've ultimately just been set free from it. That demon can still be residing in you, waiting to be fed. So you need to make sure you're completely delivering. The only way that you can truly know this is when you counsel the Father and you say, Father, please show me if I'm delivered from X, Y, and Z. So, and you may be dealing with the spirit that you don't know that you're dealing with. I didn't even know what a python spirit was. I don't even like snakes. I wouldn't hold a snake ever in my life. I was at the carnival and I had a choice. Do I want to hold the python, the big yellow snake, or do I want to take a picture with the bear? I chose the bear. I'm not holding anything. So you may be wrestling against a spirit that you don't even know. So I just say it to say, you might say, Father, reveal to me the spirits that I'm wrestling with and show me how to overcome them. These are just prayers and suggestions that I'm seriously making because it's something binding and holding us a strong man, a stronghold that we may not know how to break. But I just hope that this does help someone out there that is watching today.